Do I give a shit? I do, actually. And it's about the Maccabi Tel Aviv fans being banned from the Aston Villa match on November 6th in some competition up there. Now, as you know, Birmingham is Britain's most Islamic city. Yes, it is indeed. And the local independent MP, Ayub Khan, obviously Muslim, he's delighted they banned the Israelis from that because he's not anti-Semitic, of course, is he? And, of course, we've got a Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood. She's also from Birmingham. I'm not sure what her state of affairs on her statement on that has been. But the Prime Minister has stepped in and said, of course, the ban should be overturned. I don't know how they do that. It's up to the local police, isn't it? And that's a shame on them. And that's an absolute fucking disgrace, in my opinion. Not that I give a shit about football, but that's just plain fucking wrong and stupid. And it's causing a lot of aggravation for the government and also for the authorities at the football match. Donald Trump's announcement that he'll meet Vladimir Putin in Budapest to discuss Ukraine will be felt as a painful blow to Europe. Why? Well, why would he choose Budapest? Because Viktor Orban, the Hungarian Prime Minister, he must feel like the cat who got the cheese, by the way, I've got the cream. Because he's a big pal of Putin, you see. He's derided as Putin's closest ally in the European Union. And Mr. Orban has regularly clashed with Volodymyr Zelensky. He can't stand him. And same goes for Zelensky, can't stand Orban. And railed against Western sanctions over the illegal invasion of Ukraine. So he's pro-Putin, yet he's in the EU. And he's the one who keeps blocking anything the EU say about Putin. Remember the EU, full of all those bloody countries I can't fucking remember. And you've only got to have one of them voting no, and it's a no. The same as the United Nations, I keep saying this, the Security Council. You got the permanent members of the Security Council, and only needs one of them to say no. The others can say yes, and the one says no, and it's a no. That's not fucking very democratic, is it? Anyway, the United Nations is a fucking waste of time. Anyway, this is a big blow for Europe. And Donald Trump, don't do it, because he'll just make a mockery of you again, as he did in Alaska, and give Ukraine the long-range weapons and let them use them as they can, because overnight they've been attacked, over the last few weeks, they've been attacked violently by hundreds of drones and long-range missiles from Russia. So it's okay for them to fire the missiles and Ukraine can't. That's just fucking stupid. And if I was the Ukrainians, I'd tell you to get fucked and just go for it. They've got the capability now, Ukraine, to do it independently. And, I hope President Donald Trump, who I've actually been admiring over the Gaza peace plan, although that's falling apart, as the various gangs in Gaza now go out on killing sprees with their AK-47s, indiscriminately as far as I can see, celebrating anybody they capture. They tie them up and then they execute them in public squares. And the locals seem to be cheering about it. What the fuck is going on there? The only way that the peace is going to happen in Gaza, in that strip of land, will be for boots on the ground, but not European troops. It'll have to be Arab. And I suggest two countries that have got loads of, Muslims is Turkey, that mouthy Erdogan, who I wouldn't trust as far as I could throw him, and the Indonesians. They've got a huge army and they've got a huge population and they're Islamic. Send them in. All the other countries around there, they've got quite big armies. And of course, Egypt has a massive army right on the border. So that's solved that problem. In the meantime, in the UK, inflation out of control, cost of living going through the fucking roof. This government have no control over immigration. That's out of control. Do you know that these fucking illegals get private health care? They do. It's costing us 60 million a year. 60 million a year for private health care for these fucking illegals. I want private health care to get my fucking knee done. I can't afford it, but they get it for me. I'm 84. I'm still paying my taxes. I just looked at one of my little pensions I get, and I get a third of that gets taken in fucking tax. Nobody gives a shit about me. Nobody cares about old people. What about the veterans? This Northern Ireland business, trying to take these veterans to court for what happened during the Troubles. These were incidents going back to the 1970s. And these vets who are a similar age to me, in the 60s and 70s, are living with this. Just stop it now, okay? Enough is enough. Those veterans, let them live in peace, for God's sake. Some of them are my age, for heaven's sake. And those troubles which started in 69, and those young soldiers over there in the 70s, they were fucking terrified. They never knew from one moment to another when they were going to get shot at or sniped at by the IRA. Well, I don't know what else to say today. There's a lot I could talk about, but I've got to tell you an incident that I had. I'll never forget it. It was in London years ago, and there were a bunch of fans from, I think it might have been Celtic, they'd come down to the UK to play in some fucking football match or something. And there were a stack of them walking along the street, and they were all pretty pissed. And there quite a few of them wore kilts. And I don't know, for whatever reason, I was much younger and stupid. And I met her and said, why don't you all fuck off back to fucking Glasgow or somewhere? I just said it as a fucking joke. They all fucking started yelling and carrying on. And turned around and lifted their kilts up and showed me their what was all. But anyway, it's a true story. I thought if I could get out of here quick. Why the fuck I did that? But I was a bit stupid in those days. The other incident was when I supposedly went through a red light and got pulled up by a police car, and these two cops got out. And Margaret said to me, don't say anything to them. And I was much younger, and I used to get a bit... And I hadn't done anything wrong. Absolutely not gone through a red light. Anyway, I got out, and he said, did you know I've pulled you up? I said, oh, because I'm driving a nice car? Something smart-ass. Like he said, you a smart-ass, are you? And I said, no, why have you pulled me up? He said, you went through a red light. I said, no, I didn't. And I said, if I went through a red light, you were sure as shit did because you were behind me. He said, oh, we do have a smart-ass here. I said, no, you've completely misunderstood what I said. I said, if I went through the light, you fucking did. Well, I'm a police car. I said, after that, avoid you from obeying the law. And I was being a smart ass myself. I know I was. Margaret's in the car going, zip it. Anyway, he said, well, you know, don't do it again, and on your bike or something like that. And as I was walking back to the car, I said, I'm not buying any more tickets to the policeman's ball. He looked at me like I was a fucking idiot. And I have no idea, but I remember saying it quite clearly. And I drove off. I was a bit mouthy in those days, you know. Younger and stupider. I'm much wiser now. I wouldn't say anything to upset anybody at any time, as you well know from my briefs here. Anyway, let the fans go to the Aston Villa football match. It's only a football match. Who cares? Well, I'm sure the fans will. I wish Putin well in his meeting with Orban in Budapest. That's really upset the EU. Why don't they have it? I'm amazed Sir Keir Starmer hasn't suggested we have it here in the UK. By the way, of course, you know, Russia as president is under arrest warrants from all these countries. Will they arrest him? Of course they fucking won't. And Orban certainly won't. I mean, he thinks he's terrific. It's a funny old world, isn't it? Anyway, Slava Ukraini, every night they're under attack, and this is a sad, sad war. I just want it to finish for the sake of all those people in Ukraine. 3.5 years of that bloody miserable war. Terrible.